This video brings back fond memories for those of us who were there. For those who weren't, you'll get a bit of an inside peek at Goodman Games in its natural habitat in the wilds of Gen Con. Gen Con is the largest annual role-playing and tabletop gaming convention. 2019 saw over 70,000 people come to Indianapolis to enjoy the best 4 days of gaming. The convention spreads out across the entire Indiana Convention Center, Lucas Oil Stadium, and the ballroom space of several large nearby hotels. This year's meeting featured 538 exhibitors and 19,600 ticketed events. Joseph Goodman founded Goodman Games out of San Francisco in 2001 and is best known for the popular Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game. The genius of the game is a light, flexible, and modern rule set that perfectly captures the feel of the game as it was in the mid-70s and 80s. Deeply rooted in the Appendix N literature that fired the imaginations that shaped the creation of role-playing games. Goodman Games publishes DCC works based on Appendix N greats, Fritz Leiber's Lankhmar, Jack Vance's Dying Earth, and Fred Saberhagen's Empire of the East. In addition, no other company has done more to recover, preserve, and restore gaming's fast disappearing past, for those of us who grew up then, and for future generations. Some of these projects include James Ward's Metamorphosis Alpha and Judges Guild titles. Goodman Games also publishes Mutant Crawl Classics, X-Crawl, 5th Edition Fantasy, Original Adventures Reincarnated, and more. Preparation. Among the first to arrive Monday night is John Hirschberger, his daughter Natalie, and a few others. Even though we are all catching up, work is still being done, hand-folding and stapling hundreds of John's annual DCC's Almanac. The zine is filled with fan-created content. A wealth of new material for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Here we can see Goodman Games at work. Each member is fully able to survive on their own, but they tend toward a pack mentality. Often they can be seen together, marking out their territory, and they take pride in crafting a lair both practical and comfortable.
Nice, guys, that's amazing. Yeah, how comfortable, super comfortable. Seriously, just like... Yeah, he goes, "Should anyone recognize you?" I'm like, "No way you should recognize me." Well, he also thought Hollywood. So, like, that's fine. I'm gonna go fast. He gave me his number. If there's anything, he's gonna call if there's anything else coming today. Okay, cool. He said he'd bring it over. I don't know what that is. I left my power bars. About that. Why did you get breakfast? I felt, you know what? I felt very guilty about it. Seriously? I know. Oh yeah.
It's a common misnomer that other species share and help each other out in the wild.
Bullshit. Yeah, I love when that happens. That's all I get when I make 1,000 bags from my DJ.
I'm clearing those lights, right? Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Grab my laser and I appreciate you. Yeah. Good to see you, man.
Hope we get to hang out at some point, not just run past each other.
Thank you.
There's 69.
Tons of great books. Look at these covers.
There's my horrible picture.
That's awesome. Yeah. You know what? The move might be to get like a dust buster. You can charge that up overnight. Yeah. And then bring it with us. Because we only have a little area here.
I got it.
It seems so brilliant.
Hey, do you want to see if I captured your vision?
At the game room, the crew is busy setting the table for fun and fans. This is where the action is. This is where sword meets the shield, where those seeking to test their mettle rise to glory or ring their own doom.
Yes.
The reclusive artists can be hard to find at times, but their amazing artwork is always on display. This piece by Doug really pulls me in. We to be camping right here? Guys setting up the tent?
This is like setting up a tent.
I don't want to scare you guys. You ready?
About to get loud.
First, ringing of the gong, Gen
Snyder has put his tools and imagination to work, creating both the Obelisks of Doom and the Gong of Doom. At Sketch's secret gaming lair, tournament judges get together the night before Gen Con. We make sure we're on the same page and that we understand what's supposed to happen.
The healing at critical, does it need to happen right after the critical, or are we like keeping track somewhere?
The smoke ghost have a special crit table. You roll on that crit table, it doesn't, you don't check it off on this crit table.
True, right? Like you have to keep track of who has the bubble.
I don't think so. I'm not keeping track of the bubble at all.
Yeah. There's so many opportunities for like, since it's like third round, or like the character just obliterates. It's like, well, game over.
Each tournament goes through several play tests and revisions.
I don't see it that way. I think it's just,
Can we make it a bubble?
as long as the party has the bubble, I'm fine with it.
So, line of sight, for the sake of clarity, so
But the bubble list, for me, the magic trumps everything, right? His magic is such that he wants to preserve.
Crafting and judging the tournament can be a harrowing task, so a lot of work goes into getting it just right. The size and scope of the games offered grew in 2019. We had 52 judges running 187 official events for over 1,200 players. All in all, that's over 4,800 hours of fun, and that doesn't even include the tournament games.
Sunday, 2 o'clock, same time as always, but it'll be in the game hall. Traditionally, we got busted by Gen Con security every time. We got to the part where we told them we were going to break the rules, and they scheduled when they would bust us. So this time, now that we're having it at the game hall, we won't have to rush through it. We'll have a little more time, stuff like that. So it'll be in the Sunday, 2, same time, but in the gaming space.
Opening day. The crowd for the exhibit hall starts gathering as early as 6 a.m., but really gathers steam around 9 a.m. It's a sight both amazing and to some a bit intimidating. This crowd is what faces the exhibitors as they open the doors at 10 a.m. But it's okay. The days that we've spent getting the booth ready has us prepared for the hundreds of people in that crowd that will be heading over to the Goodman booth. The annual DCC RPG tournament taps into the nostalgia, competition, and difficulty of the convention tournaments of old. The tournament at Gen Con has been running steadily since 2004 and routinely sells out within 24 hours. This year it featured 10 judges, 3 rounds of action, 20 round 1 tables for 100 players, and over 500 hours of nail-biting excitement. The Doom Gong plays a special role in the tournament. Each time a PC dies, all play stops, as the doomed ring the gong. DougCon is one of the things that a lot of people look forward to as a special thing at Gen Con. The amount of work that Doug and Wayne put into the wacky adventure that they create for each new year is always a blast. And it's really appreciated.
Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I mean, there's a million awesome games, and you guys are choosing to spend your time with us. That means a lot to me, so thank you guys very much. So first off, we have the talented Brenda Lasalle. He's most famous for his work on X-Crawl, which in X-Crawl Classics will be coming out
Next year, we're going to kickstart it early next year.
awesome.
Yay!
He's also Goodman Games' Road Warrior. Like, if you've played in a con game and with somebody working for Goodman Games, odds are it was probably Brendan. Directly to my left is the talented Jen Brinkman, probably better known as Judge Jen. You know her from Spellburn, Sanctum Secorum, but for those of us working for Goodman Games, we know her as the wielder of the Pen of Death because she's also our editor. And of course, Haley Sketch. Haley Sketch, she's participated in a number of tournaments, came in third merely because of a dice roll a few years back. And this year, she actually stepped up to run the DCC Open tournament.
Yesterday afternoon. Yeah.
How did it go down?
No, so for me, yeah, like Brendan said, if there's no death, there's no fun. And at a certain point, the players understand that. You know, when you start joking about death, they'll start joking about death. And if you have the right group, they always take it well. Like, they know death is part of it, and it makes it more fun, especially in con games. You're supposed to die at the end. If you didn't die at the end, did you really give it your all?
And Jen, DCC was the first game you ran. How did you become acculturated to the character style?
I had been so exposed to all of the GMs and DMs, etc., who were cheering for TPKs. And to me, that's not fun. So I would actually feel bad, and I would do the same thing as Brendan and say, here, please bring in a couple 0 levels at least to stay engaged, which is something I learned from you. And the other way is to roll my dice out in the open. All right, guys, I've got a +2 coming at you. Whatever lands. So, terribly sorry.
So you guys may have heard of a guy named Jack Vance, who wrote a couple novels called the Dying Earth series. If I read a book, I write on the inside cover the words I don't know, and then I either look them up then or whenever I get to a dictionary. And usually I got 2 or 3 words, maybe 4 in any book I read. But when I read him, it was like 2 columns of words that I had to look up. I learned so many words from him. Then you also discover that a certain number he just made them up.
You start pulling those archaic terms, and all of a sudden it's just this phenomenal journey, and it's just about word choice. And that's what made Vance so great to read. It's, the stories are wonderful, but his word choices made them exceptional.
Maybe you can make a completely spontaneous answer. But you guys feel free to ask questions and we'll go from there. So, well, why don't we just pick Julian for this one? How is DCC Dying Earth different from regular DCC?
Crazy monsters that are not D&D template copies, but rather actual stuff that came out of Jack Vance's brain, and that really nobody has ever seen before.
We exhumed him.
There you go, Dnd the Lost City.
Woo!
It's a little less of a big name, but just a lot of fun, and it's actually one of Mike Merle's personal favorite adventures, so he's really excited about it. Chris here has already converted the Lost City. Maybe tell him a little about this fine module.
Done. So yeah, this one's a little bit off the beaten path. There's a lot more detail now, including maps. And in all the catacombs, there's 5 sets of caverns of catacombs underneath the Lost City. And I'm like, well, I could just do 1 or 2 of them, but then, then I'll get all sorts of negative feedback. Well, why didn't you just do all of them? So we did all of them.
I was just counting squares because something just seemed funny to me with the way the lake was referenced.
Harley, would you please stand and... Allow me to personally thank you for not taking the lead on this one and giving me the opportunity to make a dream come true and actually contribute my own small way to the Fritz Leiber canon in role-playing.
it always bugged me that as a DM, now a judge, how maps are done at the tables. The biggest inspiration was Doug's artwork. At my home group, they're fairly new players except for Haley, and they asked to see one of the maps afterwards, and I showed them Doug's map of Portal Under the Stars, and their comment was, "It's a real shame the players can't see this at the table." So I took an idea I'd been working on for a long time with this color form thing, and I married it up with the idea of this great artwork, and the goal is that you will be able to have map on the table with great artwork all at the same time in a fast way.
I'm Eric. I am a spare writer, video guy, henchman, and DCC fanatic.
I'm Howard Andrew Jones. I edit Tales from the Magician's Skull. I'm a fantasy author. I do swashbuckling stuff for St. Martin's, and I'm also the editor of the new line of Conan fiction from Perilous Worlds.
I'm Harley Stroh. I'm an author.
Michael Curtis. I'm also author for Goodman Games, which was the lead writer on DCC Langmar.
Moving from one area to another, from sailing to thieving to reaving to fighting large battles, has to be an important part of a Conan
we were talking
campaign.
Talking about that, sort of talking about how to evoke sort of the feel. If you read the Conan stories in order, not in the artificially imposed chronological order like they're sometimes collected, but the order that Howard wrote them, he skips all over the place. Remember that time when your characters were thieves, and then you run a few thief adventures like, how about that time when you guys were pirates? Remember that? And then you run a couple pirates, just sort of skip around.
Today, guys, we're going to play that time when you lived at the Tower of the Elephant. And so you play through that character, and it's like, well, this is how I got the scar, and I got smacked on the back of the head at the end of the elephant. And so you're building your master character sheet of this grizzled 45-year-old beaten down king at the end of his life, and he's wondering where he got that scar, and this is why he got bonked on the head, and this one he can't remember anything then.
Otherwise, this would flip Totally, that's what I said. Like, don't get in it, it'll flip over. What you looking at? Well, glad you don't have any broken limbs that I know of. I know. Yeah, I know. I looked at you when I first saw him, like, feeling broken? Yeah. It's a lopsided.
Hey ho, the Rattan Bog, in the valley, hey ho, the Rattan Bog, in the valley. On this one there was a friend for rare, friend for Rattan, friend for Rattan, live in the train, the hole, the bog, the bog, down in the valley, yo. Hey ho, the Rattan Bog, down in the valley, yo. Hey ho, the Rattan Bog.
Thank you. We love you all.
The convention is winding down, and the tournament is over. Winners of these tournaments receive trophies, prizes. They have their names immortalized on commemorative plaques on the Gong of Doom. At exactly 4 p.m. Sunday, the convention dims the lights, turns off the AC, and rolls the carpet up right under your feet. It's brutally hot, but a few exhausted people stay behind to help disassemble in a matter of hours the booth we just built 5 days ago. Later that evening, after striking the set, Joseph kindly hosts the traditional celebration dinner for the band, getting together one last time to laugh and share this year's stories of impossible victories and soul-crushing TPKs. The final day leaves most of us with an odd mix of emotion. There's a great sense of accomplishment, relief that you survived the chaos, but also a sadness that it's time to say goodbye to your friends, new and old. And always, there's the feeling that amidst all the hard work and chaos, you wish you had had more time to spend with them. Most of us leave late Sunday or Monday morning. For many, the hugs and handshakes have to last the rest of the year, till the band reforms to pull off the most amazing symphony of planning and performance. The Goodman Games band comes together but once a year. This is no small sacrifice, but all of us do it for the love of the game.
Probably thank you.
We're over time.